Rio de Janeiro is more than beautiful beaches and a song you can't get out of your head. It's a city layered with surprises. Of course, we'll bring you with us to enjoy the sweeping views atop Sugarloaf Mountain and the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue. But there's also the colorful Selarón Steps, and if you're a book lover, the jaw-dropping Portuguese reading room is something you're not going to want to miss. Rio is full of contrasts, charm, and history around every corner. In this episode, we're sharing what it truly feels like to explore this vibrant, unforgettable city. We'll be talking about how safe we felt in Rio and sharing prices for everything we spent at the end. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Find Gina Marie, where we share our lives as full-time travelers and the connections we make along the way.
Rio is on the southeastern coast of Brazil, right on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. It's nestled between mountains and the sea, which gives the city its dramatic and iconic landscape. We spent 3 weeks in Rio, beginning a few days before Christmas to mid-January 2025. While we didn't need a visa, you will need to apply for an e-visa in advance of your visit, effective April 10, 2025. We've linked to the official website so you can get yours. Technically, our first visit to Brazil was when we went to Iguazu Falls in early December, so if that's on your bucket list, you can check out our video from there next. We started our visit by heading to the Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon, partly because it's known as the heart of Rio. You can rent bicycles, walk, or jog on the 7.5 kilometers of paths around it. Soak in the incredible views of the Christ the Redeemer statue on top of Corcovado Mountain and its base rimmed with buildings of Ipanema, Leblon, and Jardim Botânico. Because we were here the week before Christmas, we tried to see the world's largest Christmas tree that's wrapped in over 3.5 million light bulbs and typically floating in the middle of the lagoon at this time of year. But the day we arrived, there was a tragic accident when a thunderstorm crashed it down and one of the workers was killed.
We were planning to head to Christ the Redeemer, and we were waiting till it wasn't quite so hot. It was a very hot, sunny day. But on our way here, it was a cloud of fog right where the statue was. So fortunately, our Uber driver had redirected us to Sugarloaf Mountain, and that's where we are. And this is the last boarding of the day, so I'm really glad that we timed it when we did. And we were originally a little bit worried about how crowded it would be at this time of day, because in theory, we should be able to see the sunset. I don't know if that's going to work out, but we'll see.
Sugar, and later coffee, were two of Rio's main exports in the 16th to 19th centuries. The Portuguese thought the shape of the mountain resembled their traditional cone-shaped blocks that sugar was molded into for transportation, hence the name Sugarloaf Mountain. You'll see this image echoed in a wide assortment of touristy foods throughout Rio. We took an Uber to get there and don't think it's necessary to book any sort of tour to facilitate the logistics, which are pretty straightforward. It's easy to buy tickets online. You can use the link in our video description. The website allows you to convert the language into English, and there are some exclusive deals like a sunrise visit beginning at 4:30 a.m. if you go on a Saturday, and it includes breakfast. But that's nearly 3 times the price of a standard ticket, which only cost about $33. We thought we were doing well by visiting around 4 p.m. to get some sunset views, but the lines were really long, and by the time we got through them, we totally missed the sunset. It turned out fine because the city really sparkles at night. But if you want to catch the sunset, for an extra $18, you can get Fast Pass skip-the-line tickets that also include VIP lounge access. You'll be taking 2 cable cars each way. The first drops you off at Morro da Urca. You'll find a ton of restaurants and pretty views, and you can stay as long as you want. But the pinnacle of your visit will be to Sugarloaf Mountain, so keep an eye on how long the lines are for the cable cars.
So this queue to get to the second leg was about a 35 minute queue, which it seemed really long, but it's been moving really reasonably fast.
Well, we were just so far back, couldn't even see where the building was, so I assumed it was longer.
We thought we'd have a bit more time to wander around and enjoy it on the way back down, but it was late enough that things were closing down on this level. Thankfully, the wait for these cable cars wasn't nearly as long as for the first set. The summit of Sugarloaf Mountain is 396 meters, or about 1,300 feet above sea level. In addition to the amazing views, there's also a ton of food and drinks here, including sit-down restaurants and assorted food kiosks.
So what do you think about this experience at this time of night?
The temperature is lovely.
It's actually quite cool.
Very cool, very comfortable, which has not been the norm lately. So I'm enjoying it. The lines have been long, but they've been moving quickly. Not too many complaints, really. And there's a lot of people buying things and getting drinks and things I didn't expect to see up here.
I originally was bummed out to miss the sunset views in daylight, but I ended up appreciating the night views. What do you think? Would you visit Sugarloaf Mountain after dark? Let us know in the comments.
So when you're trying to get to the Christ Redeemer statue, you want to go to the Kashme Velo train station, which is at the bottom of the hill. And we took an Uber to get here. It's pretty easy, straightforward. There's also bus routes that you can get here with.
One of the things to note is that you should buy your tickets in advance because you have to pay cash once you're here, and you have to wait in long lines, so you don't want to have to do that. We came early, so there were no lines, and even though our first train was at 9 o'clock, we could get on one earlier because it wasn't crowded.
Yeah, we booked a 9 o'clock entry, but they didn't care. They just let us go through. And I used their app to get the train tickets. Their website was working the other day. Today it was not working very well. So we're in the Uber. I just downloaded the app. The app works really well. It gives you a number. You hand your phone to the person at the ticket booth. They read off the number to the person behind. They give you the actual physical tickets. And you fill out your name and today's date to make sure that you don't reuse these tickets at another time.
And there's no time limit. They said to be up at the statue. So we're just crossing our fingers that when we get there, the fog lifts and we can get some good video.
And they were very nice about checking with us. Are you sure you want to go up right now? It is foggy. You know, everyone in town kind of knows that. The Uber driver the other day is like, are you sure you want to go there? Look at it. They're like, okay, we'll go to Sugarloaf Mountain.
This train has been in operation since 1884. And although you could just take an Uber up to the top, it's worth taking the train. It's not going to take very long, but it's going to give you views of the national park, landscapes as it goes up the mountain. It passes through rainforest. So it's definitely worth doing.
There is a van option, and it also shows you the rainforest, but I don't know how crowded it is or how many people they stick on the van. I kind of prefer the idea that you have a dedicated seat on a train with a window.
Well, and I also think that anytime you can take a little train, why wouldn't you? And something from 1884 that's historic, let's do it. To go at your very first opportunity. Don't wait till the last minute to do this because you'll be really disappointed if you miss out.
Yeah, we thought we'd go on a cooler day because one of the days was really hot. It's too hot today. Would have been the best day. Really sunny, no clouds at all.
Live and learn.
Yep.
Regardless of whether or not you are religious, the Christ the Redeemer statue is not only the most iconic symbol of Rio de Janeiro, it's one of the most recognizable monuments in the world and is considered one of the new 7 wonders of the world along with the Great Wall of China and Machu Picchu. You can check out our episode for Machu Picchu if you missed it. It's come to represent Brazilian warmth, welcome, and resilience. The statue stands on the summit of Corcovado Mountain, 710 meters, which is 2,329 feet above sea level. It's been standing since 1931 and is made from reinforced concrete. While the outer layer looks smooth, it actually consists of 6 million soapstone mosaic tiles. The statue itself is 30 meters or 98 feet tall with an arm span of 28 meters. It rests on an 8-meter pedestal that also serves as a chapel.
Oh, there we go. We're losing part of it. He was there a second ago. Capture your moment. Get them while you can.
Fun fact. For maintenance of the statue, there are narrow stairs inside with access to the head and tunnels that can take you through to the arms.
We left because it didn't look like it was going to get less foggy, and it turns out it was getting heavy rainpour. So our timing was really good, and we're happy to be down. We're glad we made it. So again, repeating, make sure you get up as early as you can, as often as you can find a nice day. Take advantage of it.
We took a great Airbnb experiences tour with Pericles to learn about the history and culture. We highly recommend booking with him. Escadaria Selarón is a 215-step staircase connecting the neighborhoods of Lapa and Santa Teresa. A Chilean artist who moved to Rio in the 1980s started tiling the worn-out steps outside his house using pieces of blue, green, and yellow, the colors of the Brazilian flag. The artist self-funded the work through selling his paintings and using broken tiles, mirrors, porcelain, and eventually tiles donated from over 60 countries by people inspired by his work. It now comprises over 2,000 tiles and is the ultimate love letter to Rio de Janeiro. He claimed it was a tribute to the Brazilian people, and he worked on the stairs constantly for over 20 years until his death in 2013, updating them throughout that period. He considered the project never truly finished. The city eventually recognized the importance of his work and now helps to preserve it. You need to go very early in the morning to avoid crowds. If you're a book lover, you won't want to miss soaking in the 4 stories of ornate wooden bookshelves that comprise the Portuguese reading room. It holds the largest collection of Portuguese language literature outside of Portugal. Over 350,000 volumes, including rare books, manuscripts, and first editions.
Yeah, it looks like a black hole sun. It looks like a material from a wall, right? You see like pipes, right?
This Baroque church, known as the Old Cathedral, was once the heart of royal and imperial life in Rio. When the Portuguese royal family fled to Brazil in 1808 to escape Napoleon, they turned this into their royal chapel. It's a powerful reminder that Brazil once had emperors and a European-style monarchy. This was our first time in Rio, and there's a lot we didn't know before coming here. We took an Airbnb experiences tour to learn about the history and culture. The land that is now Rio de Janeiro was originally home to several indigenous peoples long before Portuguese explorers arrived in Brazil in 1500. Only a small fraction of indigenous people remain here now, but their presence is a reminder that Brazil's true history began long before colonization. Rio has the unfortunate reputation of being the largest slave port in the Americas. Millions of people were brought here against their will, shaping the city's culture in painful but powerful ways. Brazil has the largest African diaspora in the world. We weren't able to take this tour ourselves, and we weren't successful in getting an interview from the operators of this tour, but based on the reviews, we highly recommend a tour of Little Africa, a neighborhood established in Rio's port zone where freed and formerly enslaved Africans settled after slavery was abolished in 1888. It became a vibrant center of African-Brazilian culture, music, religion, and resistance.
So it's Christmas. We've never spent Christmas at the beach like this before. And one of the things that I really like is that you don't have to choose between mountain views and sea and sand because you have it both here in Rio. I think it's pretty impressive.
Ipanema Beach.
I do miss a Christmas tree and maybe a little less humidity.
Yeah, it could be cooler today. But we asked for sun and we got it.
Our walk to the beach for fireworks was interesting. People everywhere were wearing white, which we learned is a tradition stemming from Afro-Brazilian culture, where white symbolizes peace, renewal, and hope for the year ahead. There also were flower vendors, and although people were buying and carrying them, throwing flowers to Yamanja, the queen of the sea, is also part of the ritual. But if this was happening, we missed it, because we were surrounded by the revelers celebrating by the bandstand. We were surprised that celebrating New Year's Eve was as mild and trouble-free as it was, especially since the fireworks display was on the beach, which I feel like could really be a wild party. And there was even various stands selling alcohol set up in the sand. There was a ton of security and medical stations, but really everyone seemed on their best behavior.
So I can't pronounce it. I'll look it up. We'll get there. But it's the national drink in Brazil. And it's made with lime and sugar and a special alcohol. And it's good. It's a little on the strong side here, which is a little bit different than the mojito we had yesterday, which wasn't strong at all.
Yeah, you got this one is a 300 milliliter. I went for the big boy, which is 500 milliliter, and mine's strawberry.
I feel like you could get drunk after one drink.
Yeah, like they said in the one article, it's like rum, so it's sweeter.
Yeah.
And whenever alcohol is sweeter, it always feels like you're not drinking very much.
Yes.
So.
Although I feel like you could definitely feel this alcohol coming. Maybe I'm hungry. We haven't eaten since breakfast. So.
But the lime is stronger tasting.
Yes, than your strawberry.
Yeah. Now we have a 2-block walk back to our Airbnb, so it's not like we're going to get drunk and then lost in the city or.
And it's still light out, so we'll be stumbling into the dark.
Yeah. So I'm trying the bobo de praia, which is shrimp. And it smells like actually a shrimp etouffee. Got rice, and what was the flour again?
Oh, it's made from cassava flour.
This does taste a lot like a less spicy crawfish etouffee. I think that powder adds a nice flavor to it.
And mine is a variation of it with tilapia and then a broccoli rice, almonds, and cheese. I've been wanting to try this food. I can't pronounce it. I'll need to look it up. But every place that has had it on the menu hasn't been serving it. So I'm very excited to be trying it finally. It is basically a bean stew that's local.
I think it's Feijoas, but that's just my pronunciation.
For you. I'll take it.
All right. And what's your drink?
I don't know. He said it's a local drink, and it's
like a fruit
kind
juice,
of like
but
a guava. Yeah, it's a fruit juice.
Yeah.
But it's pulpy. It's actually good. I would recommend.
It's one of the hottest nights we've had here, so it's good to have cool drinks.
It's not just hot; it's humid.
It's 80% It's high.
Yes. Now I thought this was actually like some sort of a cacao flavored drink or something like that. It's definitely made from a fruit, but whatever it was sounded like it was mixed with coconut milk. Maybe I didn't get what I ordered, but it's good regardless.
As long as you like it, love it.
I had no idea, and I asked, like, no, this is for one. One giant.
Takeaway? Because I'm not exactly missing meals here.
This looks like a combination of fish and beef.
Oh, that's cool. I wanted to try some of the seafood. Because the first bite kind of looked like swordfish or tuna,
I would say. And the beef is really like a stew beef. But very tender, tasty.
2 years later, we'll still
I'm
be...
just really glad that we still have several days left. And this can be leftovers. If this would have been our last night meal, that would have been frustrating.
That's true.
So how safe did we feel being in Rio de Janeiro? Our Airbnb was 5 minutes from Copacabana Beach in an apartment complex with 24-hour security. There also were police officers milling around all through Copacabana and also the residential and commercial areas of Ipanema. Leblon is also a good area to stay in. These areas all are part of the South Zone, which is great for tourists. We were told to get around via the subway, which worked great for us, and also Uber. It was recommended that we avoid yellow cab taxis because they're more likely to scam tourists, and we were also told to avoid taking the bus. We didn't see any major issues like these whatsoever, but they're practical ideas for every major city. Avoid flashing around expensive items like watches, rings, and jewelry. Keep valuables inside zippered pockets to thwart pickpockets. And to be mindful not to leave your cell phone on a table if you're dining outside, because there can be bicyclists and motorcyclists that swipe them as they drive by. The same goes for mindlessly walking while holding a cell phone. As far as we were concerned, though, we didn't see anything that concerned us, and we never felt unsafe, even walking around at night. So what did this 22-day trip cost us? We arrived in Rio from Montevideo, Uruguay, and that flight was $382.09, or $191.05 per person. We'll leave this cost off of our cost per person per day total at the end because you could be arriving from anywhere. We negotiated with our Airbnb host to lower our accommodation cost to $1,905.69, which is a nightly price of $86.62 or $43.31 per person per day. We got around using Uber, Subway, and by walking for a total of $71.62, or $35.81 per person. We did a mix of eating out and cooking. Dining out cost $731.07, and groceries were $226.32, for a total of $957.39, which breaks down to $43.52 per day, or $21.76 per person per day. I'm sure if you don't stay and eat in the poshest parts of the city, it will be significantly less. But this is what we paid. We did 3 paid activities while we were here: cable cars to Sugarloaf Mountain, a visit to the Christ the Redeemer statue with a train ride, and a historical and cultural tour, all totaling $169.93, or $84.97 per person. So for these 22 days, we spent $3,104.63, which is minus the cost to get to Rio. That breaks down to $141.12 per day and $1,552.32 per person, which is $70.56 per person per day.
Our time in Brazil went way too quickly. I think there were holidays. There was a lot going on. And I don't know, I really enjoyed myself. I would come back. Thank you for watching. We hope you'll subscribe if you're not already. The best compliment you can give to us is to recommend our videos to your friends and family.
Go to findingginaMarie.com where you can find articles, downloads, our free community forum, and check out our gelato membership.
Until next time.
Until next time.